Hi, my name is Seo-Young Chu, and today I am going to read aloud an excerpt from A Refuge for Jae-in Doe, Fugues in the Key of English Major. The excerpt I'm going to read is a poem, a science-fictional lyric poem, set in an alternative universe where rape is an alien phenomenon. The poem opens with a woman's body, Jae-in Doe's violated body, my body, the violated body of my 22-year-old self, mysteriously crossing over from our reality into this alternate world. I wrote the poem as a series of ventriloquized voices with multiple sources, from European sonnets objectifying female body parts to Law&Order, Special Victims Unit. What you're about to hear is, in some sense, a postmortem Blazon / autopsy of a model minority stereotype, framed in terms of a speculative police procedural. Setting: an alternative universe where, due to the choreography of molecules here, to use words is diversify. Location: Southwest Canada, not far from where the Golden Gate Bridge is located in our reality. Time: a year named the earliest early Americanist, corresponding roughly to our year 2000 AD. All residents of this universe hold the following truth to be self-evident. Each person has the right to free consent. Living by this truth is to them as breathing is to us. Rape in this reality is an alien phenomenon. 1. News. Quote, ellipsis. She fell into the water from the sky. Ellipsis, end quote. 2. Jae-in Doe. Decedent is an Asian female. 22, she just had turned. The cause of death we cannot tell, despite the many things we've learned. 3. Top secret. My Doe-type can be difficult to track, yet here I am, my voice box playing back from lips hydrangea-lavender in hue, his thoughts during our first few interviews. The hair is shoulder length, the color black. The height and weight suggest she won't fight back. The fingernails are unadorned and short. The eyes are brown, no makeup do they sport. The skin appears unpierced and untattooed, yet scars of ruby pearl seem to protrude like self-inflicted jewelry on each arm and wrist, which means she's vulnerable to harm. The language of her flesh, as I assess her, reveals Confucian worship of professors. Her deference, Korean, gives me right to use her innocence for my delight. 4. The coroner's soliloquy. The species neither robot nor a xenomorph, but both. A blazonaut, I'll call her as I scan her for the truth. Throughout her brain, dimensions grew like flowers, wild, and Han flowed through her circuits like fog weather, mild, until the onslaught caused a drought. The genitals, the soul, the lymph, the spine, the nape show evidence of for which we have no name. I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I want to close my presentation today by sharing an anecdote. Last week, out of nowhere, I received an email from a stranger in Japan who claimed that, quote, Koreans lie like they breathe, end quote, that the so-called comfort women were not actually raped or sold into sexual slavery, that the Korean people were, quote unquote, cowards who were quietly and passively complicit in their own victimization. I tried to ignore this email, but as a rape survivor of Korean descent who has written and spoken about the comfort women and who has been called both a coward for not coming out as a survivor until 2016 and a prostitute after I came out as a survivor, I felt targeted and upset. The more I tried to avoid thinking about this email and similar messages I've received over the years, the more I felt the model minority leave my body like a ghost. And what replaced that ghost? Fire. Fire igniting generations of suppressed rage, compressed sorrow, complex trauma, trauma compounded by trauma, deep ancestral, generational, feminist, Korean trauma, a trauma I still call Han. Han stored in the DNA of women I've never met, but whose blood I share, grandmothers and great-grandmothers and aunts and great-aunts and everyone and anyone in my family who has ever been on the receiving end of sexual violence and colonialism. Han I reclaim and redefine as a response to injustice, a moral compass, my Korean American response to injustice. It's Han that blazes into fire when righteous fire is necessary. In Korean, there's a word for this feeling of fire. The word is Hwabyung. Hwa meaning fire, byung meaning illness, fire, illness. According to my family, Hwabyung is what killed my grandfather many years before my birth. It has been said that this fire consumed him from within after he watched his eldest son starve to death during the Korean War. I used to think that this fire would kill me, that it was coming for me as well. Not anymore. Hwabyung will not kill me. Hwabyung will continue to energize me. Hwabyung, for me, is a cathartic way of experiencing political agency and creative power. Hwabyung is what fuels my activism. Hwabyung is what inspires me to use my breath, my truth, my voice to break harmful silences. The silence of Japan on the issue of comfort women rhymes with the silence of the Stanford English department on what happened to my younger self. When I see pictures of surviving comfort women, women who are now in their 90s, when I hear their haunting stories, I am at once furious on their behalf and in awe of their courage and fortitude. I don't want to wake up and find myself 90 years old, still waiting for an apology. But if I do, then at least I will know that I spoke up. At least there will be a record of my voice, documentation that I did not consent to the abuse or the cover up. Thank you.